The lights were bright, the energy was palpable. Millions of Americans tuned in, eager to witness history unfold. This wasn't just another debate, it was J.D. Vance versus Tim Walz, two contrasting visions for America's future. The vice presidential debate had arrived, carrying with it the weight of a nation on edge. Viewership soared, reflecting the tight race and the pivotal role these two men could play. Vance, the firebrand author endorsed by former President Trump, carried the hopes of a base yearning for a return to what they saw as a stronger America. Walz, the steady hand aligned with the current administration, represented the promise of continued progress and stability. From the outset, the stakes were clear. Every word, every gesture, every facial expression would be scrutinized. The pressure was on, not just to articulate their own positions but to defend their running mates and sway those precious undecided voters. This was their night to shine, to prove they were worthy of standing just a heartbeat away from the presidency. The debate moved quickly, transitioning from domestic issues to the global stage. Here, the chasm between Vance and Walz became impossible to ignore. Vance, echoing the sentiments of the Trump era, advocated for a more isolationist approach, prioritizing American interests above all else. He argued that global engagement had weakened America, leaving it vulnerable and overextended. Walz countered with a passionate defense of multilateralism, arguing that America's strength lay in its alliances and its commitment to global leadership. He painted a picture of a world in chaos, where authoritarianism was on the rise and democracies were under threat. Only through cooperation and engagement, he argued, could America hope to navigate these turbulent waters. Climate change, a defining issue of our time, further exposed the fault lines between the two candidates. Vance expressed skepticism about the severity of the crisis, questioning the scientific consensus and advocating for a more cautious approach that prioritized economic growth. Walz, in contrast, spoke with urgency, emphasizing the need for bold action and a rapid transition to clean energy. The familiar battle lines of immigration and the economy emerged as expected, each candidate retreating to their respective corners. Vance, echoing the rhetoric that propelled Trump to victory, painted a picture of a nation under siege, its borders porous, and its jobs at risk. He called for stricter enforcement, a wall, and a crackdown on illegal immigration. Walz countered with a more compassionate approach, acknowledging the complexities of the issue and the human cost of draconian policies. He spoke of the need for comprehensive reform, a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants already contributing to American society, and a focus on addressing the root causes of migration. The economy, always a hot-button issue, sparked a heated exchange. Vance, channeling populist anger, railed against elites and their perceived stranglehold on the levers of power. He advocated for tax cuts, deregulation, and a return to what he saw as the glory days of American manufacturing. Walz, in contrast, defended the current administration's record, pointing to low unemployment, rising wages, and a booming stock market as evidence of their success. He argued that the key to continued prosperity lay in investing in education, infrastructure, and clean energy, creating an economy that worked for everyone, not just the wealthy few. Section 4. Social fault lines. Abortion and gun violence take center stage. The debate inevitably turned to the social issues that have long divided America, exposing the raw nerves that lie just beneath the surface of our national discourse. Abortion, a perennial flashpoint, elicited passionate responses from both candidates. Vance, aligning himself with the pro-life movement, spoke of the sanctity of life and the need to protect the unborn. Walz, a staunch defender of reproductive rights, countered with a powerful defense of a woman's right to choose. He spoke of the importance of access to safe and legal abortion, framing it as a matter of healthcare equity and bodily autonomy. The exchange highlighted the stark reality that on this issue there is little room for compromise. Gun violence, another uniquely American tragedy, prompted a rare moment of agreement. Both candidates acknowledged the devastating toll of gun violence, expressing sympathy for the victims and their families. However, their proposed solutions revealed the familiar partisan divide. Vance advocated for mental health support and school safety measures, stopping short of endorsing stricter gun control laws. Walz, in contrast, called for universal background checks, an assault weapons ban, and other measures aimed at reducing the number of guns in circulation. The exchange highlighted the complexity of the issue and the difficulty of finding common ground in a nation awash in firearms. Section 5. The final plea, two visions for America. As the debate drew to a close, both candidates were given the opportunity to deliver their closing arguments, to make one final plea to the American people. Vance, his voice filled with conviction, spoke of a nation at a crossroads, facing a choice between two fundamentally different paths. He urged voters to reject the status quo, to embrace his vision of a stronger, prouder America, one that put its own interests first. Walz, in his closing remarks, struck a more optimistic tone. He spoke of the progress America had made under the current administration and the promise of a brighter future. He called for unity, for a rejection of division and fear, and for a renewed commitment to the values that had made America great. The contrast between the two candidates could not have been clearer. Vance offered a vision of America under siege, in need of a strong leader to restore its former glory. Walz, in contrast, offered a vision of an America on the rise, its best days still ahead. The choice, he argued, was clear. Section 6. Beyond the spin fact-checking in the digital age. As the dust settled and the post-debate analysis began, one thing became clear. In the age of social media and instant information, fact-checking is more important than ever. Both candidates made claims that, upon closer examination, proved to be misleading or outright false. Vance's assertions about the economy, for example, were contradicted by readily available data. Walz, too, was caught embellishing his record, making claims about his accomplishments that did not stand up to scrutiny. This underscores the importance of media literacy, of being critical consumers of information and not simply accepting what we hear at face value. In an era where misinformation can spread like wildfire, it is our responsibility to be discerning, to seek out reliable sources, and to hold our leaders accountable for their words. The vice presidential debate, for all its flaws and fireworks, served as a reminder of the importance of civic engagement. It is up to us, the citizens of this great nation, to stay informed, to engage in thoughtful dialogue, and to make our voices heard. The future of our democracy depends on it.